Hello, it's your lady Marceline here, and wow, I'm doing another deep dive look into the story of another participant of the festival held in Perevil, baby. And their name is Dad August. So, before we even start, I did one about Marina. I covered her and Samari's story. I also talked about trans representation. I really want to say that the response to that video has been really amazing and supportive. I was very nervous about posting that video, but the Fear and Hunger community was really kind to me. I even got some good criticism. It was really good feedback. I love it! There were a few hateful comments, but honestly, they didn't watch the video and they weren't part of the community. They saw the trans flag in the thumbnail and went, ah! I even got a request to cover other characters in Termina. I don't do requests. I always want to have the power to cover the stuff I want to on my channel. But I did give it a think. These character analysis videos, they do take some time, but Fear and Hunger 2 is a game I'm very passionate about. And I love the game to thems. So why not make another one and see how it goes? With all that said now, let's talk about the handsome, the mysterious, the man with the red hair and the red moustache, and the total dad, August. The Fear and Hunger games are dark by nature, meaning this video will also have themes that you may find uncomfortable. Compared to the Marina video, there won't be as much dark stuff, but it is pretty disturbing. Please, 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 if you get uncomfortable during this video, then it's okay to stop watching. With that said, let's go! And massive thanks to NoCommentary again. This video was so much easier to make thanks to them. Their links will be in the description. He's a man with a fine mustache, and he's hella handsome too? Okay. There's actually quite little we know about August. He has no Moonstorch form, he's not playable, meaning no character history, and he has only a few interactions in the game. That's the thing though, even with very little, there's much to learn about August. Plus, he's officially the dad out of the 14 participants. Let's cover his personality first, then his interactions in the game, and then we'll top it off with a summary. August's personality can be described as stoic. He's very friendly, polite, he's even fatherly. He's very calm, he doesn't get heated, and he's very thoughtful. Of course, we can't forget he's pretty angry with Kaiser. He hates that Kaiser. Eat him up, eat him up, eat him up! He isn't fazed by the festival too. While everyone is like, what does the dream mean? Ah, we had the same one! August is like, meh, I'm not too worried. In addition, he's awfully quiet in the intro of Termina. Let the kids argue. Don't mind me, I'm gonna find me a yellow king who's gone mad. In my opinion, I like how stoic August is. It's nice having a character who isn't fazed by the events. It's quite telling. It's kind of like he knows what's really going on. Wow, that makes 3 characters, Osa, Samari, and August, who knew about the festival. Oh yeah, he carries a bow and arrow too? Totally a normal thing to carry in the 1940s. It's like he knew he would need to defend himself. Guns, they're overrated. Oh no, it's a Karen. Guns go brrr! I could literally watch Karen shoot August for like 10 hours. I use a bow and arrow. Here's my gun. Bro. So, with his personality out of the way, let's cover all the interactions you can have with August. In the intro, he introduces himself. You can approach him and have a chat. He's chill, relaxing, and not stressed about the train not working. As mentioned, it's really telling of his character how quiet he is when the others are talking about the dream and what to do. He can also be seen jumping over the gate and jumping across buildings. If anyone is prepped for the festival, it's Daddy August. He's so buff! Then there's the interaction with Moonless. If August is still alive and you fight Moonless and win, he'll stop the fight and say, hey, it's just a misunderstanding. Puppy Moonless understands and goes her own way. Being the sexy, handsome gentleman Daddy August is, he'll give you items for the bleeding and a condensed blue. This is the biggest hint that August knows a lot more than he's saying. He is an incredibly powerful item. Knows Moonless, a fucking massive puppy! This man has secrets. He knows more than he lets on. Next, if the player loses a coin flip to the priest in the mayor's manor, they'll be forced to endure a ritual for Ulmer. Interestingly, the player doesn't die, but gets naked and loses their legs. Importantly, a wild August appears to help the player out. They help them down, get them dressed, and helps to divert the villagers for the player to escape. He doesn't even offer to carry the player to a safe place. Asshole! For real, this is such a dad moment, helping out the kids. I love August so much. Oh, Daddy August! Moving on, you can also find August camping in the deep woods, and he offers to tell you a story. It's pretty interesting. He talks about the world being a state of sickness, people will try to blame higher powers but not themselves. He then explains the prophecy that one day a holy knight, the god, will break the sickness, but to do so he needs to acquire power which corrupted him and he became the thing he swore to destroy. It led to a new god to be birthed. People were drawn into the new god instead of the holy knight, the god, because it was different. No one gave a shit about the knight. Fuck him. I mean, he's sexy, but you know, fuck him. We have this god now. We don't need you. We're bored of you. Well, in typical fashion, that dude went mad. Instead of the hero, he was named the Yellow King of Madness. So mad, he had to fulfill the prophecy before he died. He explored the Mother Earth for the greater good. Here's when you can tell August if you saw the Yellow King. He doubts you towards the story took place in the 16th century. Mind reading him though. He's feeling stress and can feel the effects of the moon. He knows what will happen if it goes unchecked. He tells the player he has to leave to do something urgent. If you told him about Kaiser or reach the Yellow King by day 1, he will appear and aid the player by sticking 3 hours in Kaiser's face. He will die though. Even till the very end, he was a dad protecting his kids. Bless. And this is really interesting. He knew about the events that took place in the first Fair and Hunger game. And it's even more interesting that he's sharing the story of the Yellow King now to the player. I guess due to the effects of the moon, he felt like he had to share a story with an innocent. You know, maybe to help take his mind off it. Even the stoic are human in the end. We're social creatures. It's a really nice moment in my opinion. Like a father telling his children a bedtime story. The question rises though, does August just know the story, or did he live in it? Side note, this is really good writing. Miro making August tell the story serves multiple purposes. We learn more about August. If the player hasn't played the first game, it's a nice story, but if you start connecting the dots, it's not just a random scene. So regardless, like if you know your lore or you don't, it's a really powerful scene and it's very telling. I love it. And it just shows you how talented Miro is when it comes to writing. And here's one of my favourite interactions. There's also a standoff between Karen and August in day 3. Karen is a bit sus about August. He's been following the Bremen soldiers. She mentions a journal. Mind reading August, he panics a little. This journal has details about everyone in the train. And honestly, I'm with Karen. Like, I would be pissed too. Mind reading August, he's calm but cautious. He even agrees Karen's question is a good one. Ha! In Karen fashion though, she fires a warning shot. There's no time to lose. Again, Karen is in the right. She's scared. It's the last day before the shit hits the fans. Again, she hits the nail on the head. August definitely knows more. He can't keep it a secret anymore. Being the best dad, he thinks yeah, they do deserve an explanation, but not at gunpoint. Karen says no. And again, I'm with Karen on this. If I took part in this hellhole and my Termina daddy has a journal on everyone's details, including my own, I would be suspicious too, and even really scared. Karen is scared. I don't blame her for holding on to the gun. Also, I love how August calls Karen Lass. What a dad. He's such an old dad. Then the player choices arises. If you try to speak to Karen, she'll panic and shoot August. Reading her mind, she regrets it because she was just scared. August was going for his weapon. And it sucks, I know, but the thing is, I can't hate Karen for shooting August. She was scared, and August could have just talked. Then again, I understand August's position. Time is money, friends, and they're almost flat broke. He needs to run. If you say nothing, August will disarm Karen. Then he will tell the player to tend to her wounds, and he walks off. He only wounds her. It's a pretty bad wound. You do need a light blue vial to save Karen. The thing is though, he could have killed her, but he didn't. He just tells you to help her. Best dad ever, best dad ever. Interestingly, if Karen tries to prove that the journal existed, it disappears. This does bring up the question if it existed in the first place, but reading Augus's mind, it was definitely real. It tells you how much August prepped for the festival. This scene tells a lot about August and his character. He really does care for everyone. Even when Karen is scared and points a gun at him, he knows she means well. He knows she was just scared. He's understanding. Daddy doesn't get mad. What a dad. Best dad ever. Best dad ever. Then there are two scenes of August killing a half cocoon in the city and hounds in the deep woods. This is a simple scene, but it shows how prepped he is for the horrors. And he can defend himself as well. Plus, if you have mind read, you can learn that he doesn't want to get too attached to anyone. But you're the best dad ever though. There's also a missable interaction with him and Tanaka. If you have told August about Kaiser in the woods and you don't reach Kaiser and go to the Hollow Tower by day 3 with Tanaka alive, he'll straight up kill Tanaka. He even says a fair fight. I don't know, Dad. I don't think a briefcase is much of a weapon compared to a bow and arrow. Damn it, Miro. Buff Tanaka, give him a gun. We do learn that August is out of options. He can't find the Yellow King Kaiser. All he can do is take part in the festival and attacks the player. Let the battle royale commence! Wow, Miro did add a self-aware line in the game. This is totally in character for August. He's got nothing left. He's failed to get to the Yellow King, so the only option is to do the Moon God's bidding. It's pretty sad. August doesn't really want to do it. He genuinely cares for the others. His mission is Kaiser. In dad fashion, he's totally polite about it. Hashtag still my dad. So we know that August doesn't have a Moonstorch form. I know. Boo! But in day 3, night, he can be seen committing suicide by slitting his own throat, so he can avoid not being Moonstorched. So yeah, this confirms that he does know about the Moon God and the events of Termina. He refuses to serve the god by committing suicide. Based. Ha! For real, that's very brave. Again, it's another dad moment because by ending himself, the player won't have to deal with a tough fight. Best dad ever! How many times have I said that? To summarize all that, he's the participant's dad, Serial. He's kind, stoic, he knows how to defend himself, knows law of the old times, and knows a lot more than he's giving away. With all that said though, he may be the best dad, but we don't know much. He's still a mystery. That's the best way to describe August. He's a handsome, kind, red-haired daddy who is a total mystery. The mysterious August. Roll credits. Not much, LMAO. He literally goes, I don't really give a shit about your stupid battle royale, you dumb moon god, moon. Give me Kaiser. Also, I'm gonna be everyone's dad. I guess you can say the same about the other characters. In the long run, they're all playing the Moon God's game, but the other characters are way more involved in the story. Maybe in time, when we get more updates, we will eventually learn more about August. I hope so. Like, even the other non-playable characters are more involved, such as Tanaka, Hendrik, Pav, Kazagura, and of course my beloved wife, Sumeri. We learn so much from them, and Tanaka gets a really great arc. And then there's just August. Like, I'm just your friendly neighborhood dad. Later in the game, I'm just your friendly neighborhood dad, but I do know some stuff. Even Needles and Stitches have more of a backstory than August. I don't know, maybe that's okay. Not every character needs to have a massive backstory, but I don't know. I hunger more from August. My mind demands more from August.
Listen.
Yeah, we're finally at the part that you Vipers are so excited for. The big moment. I intentionally didn't mention a word about this, but the thumbnail pretty much hinted at this section being a thing. Is August and Ragnvaldr the same person? Ragnvaldr. Jesus, this fucking name. Oh my god. I've been trying to say this name. This is like my 10th attempt to say this fucking line. Ragnvaldr. Oh my god, his name. His fucking name. So yeah, just to say it, I'm not sorry if I mispronounce his name. I suck at speaking, especially pronouncing stuff. These names. So now the question arises, is August the god of ultra-violence? The short answer is no, he's not. He is not the god of ultra-violence. That's ridiculous. In my opinion, he is not. Ha ha ha. Sorry to spoil your bubble. The long answer is... it's kinda complex. And the meme answer is yes, because that would be fun and funny. Like Karen killing the god of ultra-violence. Before we can examine this theory any further, let's cover Ragnvaldr to keep it brief. His motivation in the first game is to find the Setsi and kill him because his army pretty much killed his clan, including his wife and child. In his S ending, he becomes the god of ultra-violence. There's a lot more to Ragnvaldr. I could have made a whole section about him, but he's not really involved in August's story. Like, when I made my Marina video, I talked about Samari and her story because their paths are connected. There's no way to talk about Marina without Samari. Thus, I kinda don't want to talk about the first game too much. This video series is about the characters in Termina. Yes, there are connections to the first game, but this is my video, so sorry, not sorry, deal with it. So with that out of the way, let's cover the details that connect August and Ragnvaldr. August has the tormented soul. Not only does the word tormented used to describe how Ragnvaldr felt when the Guard's army butchered his clan, but more importantly, the skills Bloodlust and Devour can be learnt once you acquire the soul. Ragnvaldr, in his character history, can learn either Bloodlust or Devour. These are Ragnvaldr's skill. The story in the Deep Woods. I explained this before. He knows the story of the Guard and what happened to the little girl. You can say he lived within the story. It's why he knows so much about it. They're both physically robust. Ragnvaldr has the greater strength compared to the other starting characters, and August can be seen jumping across buildings, hopping over the gates. They're both strong boys. They both use bow and arrows, and if you fight them, they both have the same instant death coin flip move that pops your head off. Their appearances are very similar. Red hair, same similar battle pose, even their facial structures is really similar. The items that August drops, or stole them from, hints at how he is prepped to survive on his own if he needs to. Ragnvaldr was brought up and raised to be prepped to survive in the wilds on his own. It's how he's described in the first game. Not to mention, August can be seen camping in the woods. Both August and Ragnvaldr have different motivations for being in the events that happens in the games. They didn't come to the dungeon or festival to get godhood or to kill the other contestants. They came for revenge. Speaking of revenge, both of them hate the Guard. Yes, the Guard is Kaiser in Termina. Both of them want him dead. The biggest one, and the one that a lot of people point out, is that August knows who Moonless is, the best puppy in Fair & 101. But a little detail that people don't bring up is that Moonless obeys August. She knows who August is. I'm getting ahead of the script, but this proves that August has a connection to Ragnvaldr. In addition, he goes out of his way to apologize on Moonless' behalf by giving several items to the player. It's clear that Moonless is a dear friend to August. Also, in editing here, because I kind of wanted to say this, and it just doesn't make much sense to include it anywhere, but so a lot of people say that Moonless appears in the game of Termina for no reason. It's just for the fans, and hell, the way she enters the fight is very similar to the dinosaur in the first game, right? It's a fan servicey moment, that's what they like to say. I disagree. I think that because of how the Moon God is like involved in Termina, and from Fair and 101, Moonless hates the Lady of the Moon, a servant of the Moon God. That's why Moonless appears in the game. She feels the Moon God's presence, and she's out for blood, if that makes sense. You know, it's sort of similar to August and like Ragnvaldr in like the first game, you know? And that's why she's there. She wants to fight against the Moon God, just she hates the Moon God, basically. And you know, and that's why she attacks the player. She probably assumed that the player was serving the Moon God, you know, intentionally or not. So yeah, you know, it's just a theory, of course. I can't prove this, but in my opinion, I don't think Moonless appearing in Termina is random or a fan servicey moment. I think there is purpose behind it, and you know, I feel like maybe if we saw more Moonless, you know, attacking, you know, or being like, you know, having an event sort of thing, maybe this could help, you know, to sway people into thinking, no, this isn't just fan service. Because, I mean, it could be fan service, but, like, I don't know. Like, I genuinely believe that Moonless appears for a reason. She hates the servants of the Moon God, and this game is centered around the Moon God, so, you know. Just a little side note in editing that I just wanted to say, but yeah, I don't know. Definitely, if you agree or disagree with me, let me know. But, like, it always rubs me the wrong way that people just dismiss this as a fan servicey moment. But I disagree. I feel that there is purpose, you know? But yeah, editing mama, out of here. Woo! And then, when Order sticks 3 arrows to Kaisar's face, he specifically says, "You recognize these arrows, and it's a long time coming." And, you know, at one point, the god must have teamed up with Ragnvaldr, and so it makes sense that the god would know those arrows. And the way he says it too, you can feel the hatred Orgis has for the Yellow King. So yeah, that's quite a lot of similarities. Too much. And there's like no way Miro wrote this character accidentally to be similar to Ragnvaldr. Like, that's impossible. He's so linked to the character. There's a connection. And that brings up my next part. Ragnvaldr is an ancestor to August. He is not the god of ultra-violence. Maybe information about who the god and how he survived in the wild, who Moonless is, etc, 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 was passed down from generation to generation. Trust me, Vipers. I totally think the idea that August is actually Ragnvaldr is slick. It makes him dying to Karen so much more funnier. It's just too much of a stretch. Like, I want to say he is. I really do. I want to say for the lows, for the memes. Yeah, August is the god of ultra-violence. But I just can't. I can't. Here's why. Fear and Hunger took place in 1500s. And Fear and Hunger 2 Termina took place in the 1900s. Is August 400 years old? Sure. Kaisar looks fine and young and sexy because, well, he's a god. Wait, but Ragnvaldr became the god of ultra-violence. No, he doesn't. 1. S endings are not canon. 2. To get the S ending for Ragnvaldr, the god has to die. For the memes, yeah, it's fun to think that, but nah, it's just he's not the god of ultra-violence. But it is funny thinking that Karen killed the god of ultra-violence with a gun. That's pretty funny. But yeah, you know what, I could see Miro adding a joke ending about this. I really do, but yeah. So to conclude this section, would it be fun? Yes. Is he though? No. Does he have a connection to Ragnvaldr? Sure. And that's a wrap. That's the mysterious Ortis's story. It's kind of funny. As a character and his role in Termina, it's quite minimal and mysterious. But observing and analysing his connection to the previous Fear and Hunger game, and one of their characters, it makes him interesting. Not saying August is a bad character, no, he's charming, handsome, daddy, and really fun. It's, in my opinion, and only my opinion, he becomes more interesting thanks to a different character in a different game. I know one of you is like, but Bias, you love Samari and she's only interesting if you play as Marina. I guess that's true, because Marina and Samari are best girls, but Samari isn't defined by Marina. She has her own personality. There's a lot more to devour with Samari, not so much with August. He has no Moonstorch form. He isn't playable. If he ever gets one and becomes playable, we will definitely learn more about August, and hopefully he can have more of his own identity. As fun as it is to compare him to Ragnvaldr, I think it would be way better, if August could stand as a character on his own. Hopefully one day Miro will bless us with more lore about August. When I made my Marina video, I did say I would do a follow-up, and maybe I could do the same for August. I don't know. August is such a mysterious character. Maybe we might not get more answers. That's the point maybe. Sure, we want to learn more, but maybe Miro wants to have a mysterious character. And just to be clear, I love August, he's fine, I'm just being a petty lady. It would be nice to learn more about Best Dad. Overall, this video was so much fun to make. It was a nice pace of change compared to my Marina video. In that video I had to cover a lot, and I did get a bit personal, and that made it tough to make. So it was nice to cover a character whose role in the game is more simple. As always, please support Miro and their games. They're just so talented. Do I need to say more? Like, support them? Do it because your queen said so? And yeah, that's the video. I hope you Vipers had fun, and I would love to hear your thoughts on August. This video isn't over yet. A massive love and shout out to Riley, who returned to draw the art used in the thumbnail. Again, they have done an excellent job. I love it so much. Sexy, buff, mature, red hair man. Ah! And the backgrounds are just so fabulous. Their links will be in the description. Please check them out. They are a not-for-safe-work artist, and they're also an amazing sex worker on their main. Of course, not safe for work warning. Check them out, commission them, support them, they deserve it. I love their art style so much, and they're wonderful to work with. I love them so much. I'm ordering you to check them out now. Do it, support Riley now.